everyone, this is Kayla Petrasek, and you have reached the Go-To Aesthetics Coach podcast, where we will be diving deep into medical aesthetic devices, skincare, and business development tactics that are going to take your clinic to the next level. Hello, welcome to the Go-To Aesthetics Coach podcast. It is Saturday evening in Vancouver, and it's a beautiful night. We got some sun after a lot of rain. I've got my candle going, my favorite thing, Bath and Body Works candles. And this one is coconut sandalwood. And if you are a Bath and Body Works candle fan, this is like one of the best ones I've ever smelled. You should try it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so today I wanted to do an extension to the last episode, which was all about feminine and masculine energy, because I feel like it's a little bit different than what I typically do. And, we get a little deep and it can help a lot of people. And I just am into it. So I want to talk more about it. But before I get into it, I was wanting to share with you, I'm realizing wow, I'm such a nerd now. So I'm turning 35 in March, and I was like, this is a big one. I want to celebrate and do something really fun. Actually, my friend was the one that was like, Kayla, you got to do something fun. And I was like, yeah, you're right, I should. So I was like, okay, what do I want to do? And then I was like, I should do something like Vegas or rent like a villa in Cancun or something, and have my friends come for a long weekend or something crazy and fun like that. But then I was like, okay, what do I actually really want to do? What would be so special to me for on my birthday? And I was like, oh my God, I would love I'm such a nerd. I would love to go on a solo trip and have a day with a coach that I love, like a business coach. It's I'm so obsessed with this stuff. And I think that would be a dream. That'd be so fun. So I might do that. I'm manifesting it. There's this coach, this newer coach that I'm looking into, and she has this spend a day with her, and she's in New York City, and I've always wanted to go to New York City. So it's very resonating with me. And I'm sitting here and it's Saturday night, and I'm thinking what do I want to do? It's my weekend. I work so much. What would feel really good for tonight? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to go record a podcast because that's my thing. I you know what? The thing is, I don't need to get away from work because I don't ever feel like I'm working. Now that I'm doing my business 100% full time, it's I actually am not ever really even working. I'm just doing me, and the best feeling ever. I want that for everyone. So if you are ever in a situation where you feel like you're not completely feeling what you're doing with work, and you've always kind of thought about and wanted to do something else, this might be your sign to just fucking go for it. I don't know. Just saying. I did it, and no regrets. It took me years to actually do it. And when I did, I'm never ever going back. And I honestly just wish I did it sooner. And I wish I heard more people's stories of doing it. And I wish that I had more people push me to do it, because it's just, yeah, you just should. So, all right, let's get into the next episode. We are going to get into the energetics again. Today, I want to dive deep into how you can use the power of desire, navigate triggers, and embrace devotion to transform not only your personal life, but your business as well, because we're always looking from all angles of the whole self. And if you are an aesthetic clinic owner, an entrepreneur, or anyone that is looking to grow their business while staying connected to your authentic self, this episode is going to be for you. So we'll dive into strategies to help you align with your energy, your vision, handle the challenges that come with running a business. We all know that there's lots of those, and embody a level of devotion that drives sustainable long-term success. So grab your notebooks and settle in, and let's get started. Whether you're at home, whether you're listening in your car, let's get ready. Let's dive into it. And I'm also curious to hear if you guys ever want to DM me on Instagram. The last couple episodes, I haven't used my microphone because I just wanted to be in my kitchen to record. It just felt fun. And I'm wondering if there's a big sound difference. I'm actually just going to go listen to myself. Another thing that I just thought about and that just made me laugh was my friend, Jen, said that this mic looks like a penis. And now every time I freaking look at it, that's all I can picture. It's so funny. Anyways, moving on. So before we get into today's topics, let's revisit where we left off in the last episode. So we explored the idea of desire as the driving force behind creation. And let's be real. So many of us, especially as business owners, are afraid to fully own what we want. And why? Because we fear failure or disappointment. Think about this in your business. Maybe you desire to double your revenue, expand into a new market, hire new staff, buy a new device, but you're scared of what happens if that doesn't work out. It's always coming down to the what ifs. Always. The scared part of our brain. So, what do you end up doing as a result of that? You end up playing small. You end up playing the little version of yourself, and you put the big gray version of yourself back away. Not good. You set goals that feel safe and comfortable. But here's the thing. Desire is not about having everything figured out right away. It's about energy and excitement that comes from wanting something much bigger and something new. That energy is magnetic and it draws opportunities to you. So, for example, one of my clinics and a medical aesthetic clinic owner had a desire to expand her services, but she felt kind of stuck. She was afraid of investing in new equipment and hiring more staff because she thought, what if it doesn't bring the results I expect? What if it doesn't bring the money? What if I can't make the payments? But when she allowed herself to fully claim that desire, everything changed. Like we worked on embodying that energy of growth and abundance. And as soon as she started operating from a place of, I actually deserve this. I'm doing this for me. Like I deserve this. I've been working ass off for this. Like, of course I'm doing it. I want to do it. Everything inside of me is telling me I want it. I'm going for it. As soon as she started thinking like that and she changed the way she was thinking, she rewired her brain. She began attracting the right clients and the right opportunities, which led to a significant increase in her revenue. Desire is an invitation from the universe to step into that next level. The question is, are you going to accept it? And that's where the bulk of people get stuck and get left behind. Now, I want to share 2 examples on this. And the reason I'm so like gung-ho about this stuff is because it's legit. Like it actually happens. It actually works. I'm going to give you 2 examples. Okay, so I've been corporate my whole life since I was 21 years old. I know I always share these stories, but like I started working 21 in a very busy sales department at the biggest Hilton hotel downtown Toronto on Front Street. And I was super young, like 21. I had a young child. I was a single mom. But I jumped into the corporate world and I thought I freaking hated sales. And I was like, I'm never doing sales. Like, that's not my thing. I hate pressuring people. That's what I thought. That's the story I made about it. But I'm thrown into this fast-paced department and I kill it. I kill the role. I have a work ethic like no other because I'm a mom, because I have to, and because I've always, like, it's also because I've always had this fire inside of me. Like, I always strive to just do the best, be the best that I can. Anyways, one thing led to another, and I've been in the corporate world a long time. Because of that, I feel like I've invested so much of my life. So I'm 34 now. That's a long time. And, every year or two, I always went up a level, like went up a level, and got to a good place where I not only had a corporate role, but I had other side gigs. And all together, like I had a really good thing going. I was comfortable. I felt safe. And I felt like I was as accomplished as I could be. But something happened where I started to achieve everything that I wanted in that corporate capacity. My business was a side hustle, but that's where my passion was. But I truly felt inside that I think that I just felt like I would fail. And I felt like I couldn't make it the same amount of money that I was making in my corporate role. What if, everything that I teach against now. But in that corporate role, I started to achieve like everything that I always wanted to achieve in a corporate setting. And then when I actually achieved all these things, I was like, okay, now what? Like, yeah, I can keep, winning awards or having high sales or whatever, maybe like become into management. But then what? It's like, but then my passion is still not fully fulfilled because my heart's somewhere else. So that got me thinking, am I really doing what I should be doing? And I knew I wasn't. And then there's all these signs pointing to like, I needed to leave that world. Like literally everything in the universe was telling me like, get out. Things were happening behind the scenes where it was just naturally pushing me out, like in a way like you should not be here anymore. And I had a good talk with a friend and she was like, what are you doing? Like if I were in your place, I would be going 100% of my company. Like you have everything you need to succeed. And I'm like, oh my God, you're right. Finally, it just hit me. It's like, you're right. Like if the time is now. So the second I made a mental note that I'm like, okay, I'm going to give my 2 weeks notice. Within that 7 days after I made that mental decision, I'm not even joking. Clients came into my world. I didn't even have to go find them. They came to me and the clients were equal to what I was making at the corporate job. And it's so funny because I spent years thinking I'll never be able to do that. And then the second I did, it's just the universe just made it happen. So that blows my mind. And I always tell that story because I think that's crazy. Like it's powerful. And I just want that for everyone. Like I'm not to say like that's always going to happen, but it did happen to me. So I know it can happen to you too. And there might be different creative ways of doing it. And it might not happen immediately, but like what I'm saying is that you can do it 100%. What else was I going to say? So another thing, I've been like manifesting a specific client. I do marketing, like I have a marketing agency, I do coaching, but I've been feeling like I want to do something a little bit different, something a bit higher level, like with a higher touch point and support level with a client. And I literally like pictured in my brain exactly what I want. I was like, I want to work in a clinic, like a half day a week in an intensive, like 4 hours a week in the clinic so I can see and know and breathe and eat and like know their clinic so well, know the staff, know everything in it. And then I want to do like high touch point coaching on the side as well and do their marketing. And I know with all those things, like if I'm that involved with a clinic, it's time consuming, but I know that that clinic's going to do so well. And I'm like, I wanted to do it with a specific clinic where I felt really in tune with. So I actually pitched one clinic on it that it felt like a good opportunity. And it wasn't a fit. They needed someone in the clinic full time. So makes sense. Then I ended up going to a clinic and it was for like an open house type situation. And I met the owner and like immediately clicked. Like I feel like she's like a soul sister, honestly. And I fell in love with the clinic. And the moment I walked in, I've seen so many clinics at this point. I've worked in different clinics around the world. And the moment I walked into this clinic, I was like, oh yeah, we've got something here. Like I can just envision it. And when I feel this feeling, a lot of success happens. Like I can feel when something good is on the horizon. So I felt really good about it. And I'm like, I didn't even know like this person would want to work in that capacity. But one thing led to another. And she reached out to me, needed help. And we talked. And now I'm doing that. The opportunity that I was manifesting literally just came to me. And this has happened so many times in my life. And this is why I believe in this stuff. And this is why I want to share it with you. And it's like anything, it's like a muscle. We have to keep exercising it for it to come to fruition, because it's not something that you just really listen to once in one podcast episode and it's changing your life. At least for me, like it took a lot more than that. Like I had to engross my entire life into it. And that's literally what I do. And now I'm just addicted to it because there's so many cool things that I'm going to do in this life. And I can't wait. This is bothering me. Okay. We're good. So I wanted to share that with you. And if you are feeling something, wanting something, manifest the shit out of it and fucking go for it. Okay? Just do it. Because what are you going to lose? There's really not much that you can lose, because if you don't have it, you're not really going to lose anything. One thing that I've always done in my life is gone for things and done it in a creative out of the box way. So even if the answer is a no, I'll come up with at least try one time some creative way to pitch something to like bring it to the table and I'll show my value. So I encourage you guys to do that as well. Anyways, that was a full side tangent to this episode, but sometimes I get really passionate and into it. So, all right, let's take a closer look. What might be holding you back from fully owning all those desires that we were talking about? So, the aspect of this aspect of us, desires, wounded desires, can show up in many different ways, especially in business. So, it might manifest as self doubt, fear of taking risks, feeling like you need to be everything to everyone. Let's take an example of a business owner who takes on a mothering role with their team. They micromanage, they overextend themselves, and they never ever take time for their own needs. And they are left feeling completely overwhelmed, overworked, no capacity for creativity, no capacity to even think. What kind of version of themselves do you think that's leaving them? Not a good version. And I see this a lot. Okay. And I get it because it's not freaking easy being an entrepreneur. Like we all know that. You have to wear all the hats and it's a grind. It's your life. But this is the wounded version of yourself in action, constantly giving without replenishing, which eventually is going to lead to the burnout and resentment. And oh shit, 1 second. Sorry. My notes, I just messed them up. Went to the bottom, of course. Dear. I always write out my episodes and bullet point before I do them. And sometimes it gets screwed up. So where was I? Yeah, okay. Here we were. So we're talking about someone who takes on too much, right? And I see this a lot in clinics. Not in clinic, in any kind of business. Yeah, okay. So I was going to give you an example. Okay, so one thing I wanted to mention, there's something called it's actually an economic term, something like an opportunity cost. So if you are overextending yourself too much and doing exactly like all the things I just mentioned, it's costing you opportunities because you're draining yourself so much that you don't have anything left to actually take things to the next level. Because to do that, to elevate, it's actually a level of growth. And to grow, if you don't leave room to grow, like it's not going to happen. It's like, like you have a plant that's in a planter and it's too small. The planter's too small now. It's not going to grow anymore because it doesn't fit. That makes sense. Like the roots have nowhere to go. Opportunity cost. Remember that sometimes the answer actually isn't working more and working as much as possible. Sometimes it's taking a step back and just trusting. And especially like in terms of teams, when you're micromanaging because you feel like there's inefficiencies going on, sometimes it's better to take a step back and let them figure it out for a moment. Like obviously there's different degrees to this and you can't always do that in certain like important things, financial, whatever. But in some aspects with the staff member's role, taking a step back and letting them figure it out and not do the micromanage thing can actually help with growth in the role and help them figure it out on their own without damaging the culture type of situation. Now, I had a clinic who was running a successful clinic, but she was exhausted. She was doing everything, managing the staff, handling client relations, and even cleaning the clinic herself. Okay. She had taken on, this mothering role with all of the staff, and to an extent that she had lost her own creative spark. Her business was growing, but she wasn't enjoying the business anymore. It wasn't what she thought it would be. She's like, how did I get here? I didn't sign up for this. Together, we worked on shifting her energy. And again, that's like my approach as a coach is like, first of all, there's a big discovery phase because everyone's different. This is not a cookie cutter approach. So when I'm working, especially one-on-one with someone, the first thing that we're doing is a lot of conversations. I have a lot of questions for you. I'm going to do a lot of digging because I'm not just going to go in with the same kind of outline that I have for everyone. That's not how it works with me. everyone's different. We have different things to work on, and it can get deep. It's going to involve yourself. It's going to involve your business, and we're going to intertwine everything and make a very specific program for you based off, everything that we discovered. So she started delegating tasks, taking time for herself, and focusing on her own desires for her business after we started doing this work. And guess what? Not only did her stress levels drop, but her business grew even more because she had the space to actually think strategically, like that opportunity cost that I was talking about, alleviating, opening up space, growing. So if you find yourself constantly overgiving in your business, whether that's to your clients, your staff, or even your family, it's not always just clients. It's time to ask yourself, am I neglecting my own needs? Am I suppressing my creativity, which is so important to your business? Do you want a bland business that's stagnant and overwhelmed and just stressed out? Or do you want a business that has a creative outlet to have personality and growth, right? Flow. You want those things. Reconnecting with your desires can actually ignite the passion and vision you need to take your business to that next level. So important. So now let's talk about setting standards, not just in your personal life, but in your business. So here's the reality. You get to decide what you're available for in your business, right? We call the shots on what we do. Are you available for clients who don't value your time? For staff who don't meet your expectations? For services that don't align with the bigger vision of your brand? Or are you ready to raise the bar? For example, I worked with a clinic owner and she was struggling to attract high-end clients, right? Like the clients that are community, the ones that are going to be long-term, that are the advocates, not those clinic hopper promotion ones. She is looking for high-end clients who aren't going to complain about prices, who are there for her brand, not for her services. They're there for the experience that the clinic's offering, for the staff that the clinic has. She had the skills, the technology, and the reputation, but she was stuck on this cycle of attracting clients who wanted discounts or constantly asked for special treatment. She was frustrated because she knew that her services were worth more. The problem wasn't her skills, it was her standards. And this is where that energy work comes in, getting deep, actually reflecting on these things. After you listen to this, listen to it again maybe, or reflect on some of the things we're talking about and bring these principles back to your own life. So we worked on raising her energetic standards. She started showing up as a leader for the high-end premium brand that she wanted to represent, to attract those kind of clients. She aligned her pricing with the value that she was offering. She had good devices. She invested a lot of money in good devices. Raise this. If you don't feel like you're charging enough, raise your prices. You do the right tactics. You work on this. You will go the right people. Okay. So we raised her energetic standards. She started showing up as the high-end leader for the high-end clients. She aligned her pricing with the value that she offered. We revamped her marketing to reflect the caliber of clients that she wanted. Okay, marketing's huge. That's why I do it. In medical aesthetics, if you're going to be one of the big guys, you're going to be someone who's making millions of dollars a year, we got to have good marketing. This is what it is. That's the industry. What that means, you have to have a brand, it has to be cohesive. You have to have a marketing strategy behind, not just pretty pictures. There's actually strategy behind these things. And we're going to use different strategies to attract different people. We could go all into that, but you need good marketing. And that is going to build the client base of the right people, fill the schedule for all of your staff, not just yourself, and get those loyal clients who are actually going to appreciate your expertise. And that is exactly what happened with this client. So a success story. I love the success stories. I love sharing those with you. So in business, being an energetic match means aligning your standards with the level of success that you desire. So when you hold yourself to a higher standard, the universe is going to meet you there. And this is with everything in life. This isn't just business, right? But we'll use business as an example right now. Now, let's go into a topic that can shift the way that you approach your business entirely. The difference between devotion and discipline. So for a long time, we've been conditioned to believe that success in business comes from discipline, right? Following the rules, sticking to the grind, putting in long hours and making sacrifices. These are where these overwhelmed people come from. I'm that person sometimes. So it's nothing wrong. I catch myself doing it sometimes. I pull myself out. I was that person, started doing the work, learned a different way, pull myself out. But this is a very masculine way. So we talked about that masculine, feminine energy in the last episode. If you didn't listen to it, just go back an episode. You can listen to it. And while it can get those results and there's a place for it and it's good, it often leads to that burnout and that resentment that we don't want. It's just not fun. That's not how we enjoy our lives. I want to offer you a different approach. Devotion. So devotion is about love, loyalty, and commitment to your vision. It's not about grinding through every challenge. It's about staying connected to the bigger why behind your business. So when you're devoted, you show up consistently because you believe in your mission and because you're not afraid of failing. There is no option to fail. You just have so much trust that it's going to work out, and you won't start building this trust. This is something I'm going to say, and this is very true to me. You won't ever start having that trust until you start trying it out and going for it. So for example, back to my original example of being in the corporate world for so long, 12 years. And it wasn't until I actually built up the courage to be brave and leave to do what I really felt was right for me, to have my own business. And that's when I saw I allowed myself to see that first example of, oh, wow, this works. Wow, I can actually do this. Maybe I can trust. Maybe I can trust not being comfortable. Maybe I can trust, that this is all just going to work out. All I have to do is follow my heart, follow what's true, follow what I believe in, follow what I want. And you keep doing that more and more and more, and you keep seeing the results, you keep trusting more, and it just happens more, and then more and more abundance comes into your life, more success, more money. That's what we want, right? You're going to get it. Okay. One of my clients, this is a good one. So one of my clients shifted from discipline to devotion, and she saw a massive transformation in her business. So she had been running her clinic with the belief that if I don't work 12 hours every single day, my business is going to fail. She was disciplined, but she was exhausted. So we worked together and we shifted that mindset. We did the work to really dig in and see what's actually going on here. And this is where we found this limiting belief. So we're let's do the work to actually shift this mindset. That's my first piece of work for you. And we're going to shift her, mindset more to devotion. So with this, she reconnected with why she actually started this business in the first place, to help people feel confident and empowered. That was her why. She lost that. She started working fewer hours, but she showed up with more passion, excitement. She had more focus during the time than when she was stuck working 12 hours plus a day. So the result was her business not only survived, it thrived because she was leading from a place of love and commitment and not fear. It honestly takes that little shift, bringing it back, remembering, realigning, and then let it go. Love this stuff. So now running a business comes with its fair share of challenges. We all know that. And these challenges often trigger us in unexpected ways. Maybe a client leaves a bad review. Okay. I had that happen once and it was a nightmare. And I felt so bad about it for so long because I'm like, this is there forever. And oh my God, I was only working with her for a week. And where did this come from? What? So confusing, but sometimes that can happen. A staff member quitting unexpectedly, that can happen. And that can feel like a lot because we put a lot into training people, put a lot of trust, we put a lot of effort. Or revenue takes a dip. Sometimes, it's a slow summer. I've heard that a lot recently. A lot of clinics it's slow right now. These moments are the moments that can trigger old fears or securities. So this work is constant. You don't do it once and never fall back. You can be in a really self-aware place with a lot of success and abundance and just feeling really good. And it can go back by triggers. in experiences, right? And we just need to remember to be aware enough, to be involved in this stuff enough so that we're constantly remembering these mindset practices. That's why I fully engross my life in it, because it's like you let it go if you're not constantly reminding yourself, growing your knowledge in it. It's like that muscle analogy I used earlier. You got to exercise it or it goes away. And that is why, and I'll talk about this more at the end, I created my millionaire mentorship program at a very low cost per month so that my goal is to build a community of entrepreneurs with the same mindset, the same goals. Like we all want to just make it, because like money is important. Money gives us things in this world. It gives us opportunity to not only like create a life for ourselves, but like our kids and our families. And that's really important to me. Like I want to buy my dad a house one day. I want my son to know that he's never going to have to worry about anything. So like that's why we're doing this. Well, everyone has different reasons. That's my why, but we all have different reasons. So these moments, where was I? Sometimes I go on tangents and then I forget where I left off on my notes. Okay, yeah. So I was saying, with all these things that can happen in life, like all these hard things, business dips, staff member leaves, things like that, those moments can trigger those fears or insecurities. And then these things can be brought up where we have these fears of not being enough, being a failure, losing control. But here's the thing. Triggers are opportunities for growth, right? Let's flip it and like think of this as a positive. I'm going to say it again. Triggers are opportunities for growth. So when you feel like you're in a triggered moment, remember, Kayla said, this is an opportunity for growth. And when you feel triggered, instead of reacting immediately, pause and ask yourself, what am I really feeling right now? For example, I had a client whose business was growing very fast, but every time that she get close to hitting that major revenue milestone that, we all create goals, she'd self-sabotage by procrastinating or picking fights with her team. Okay. When we did the work and we dug deeper, we realized that her trigger was fear of success. And this is a big one for people, actually. She was scared that if her business got too big, that she actually wouldn't be able to handle it. So she was self-sabotaging herself. And these beliefs, you might not think that you have them. You have to dig for them sometimes. But when you find them, it's gold. Once she became aware of this, she worked on strategies to navigate those triggers. Like we came up with strategies together. And instead of reacting from a place of fear, she started responding from a place of self-awareness and empowerment. And she set up systems to manage that growth and started leaning on her team more. And as a result, she hit the revenue goals and built a more sustainable business model for the future. Because once you start hitting those goals, once you start being in a kind of different bracket, you often have to change your business models. That will always happen. So like if you're making under $1 million right now and next year making over $1 million, it's likely that you're going to change your business model. And then another, just so you know, if you're a clinic starting out and you're making under $250,000 per year, once you make $250,000 per year is where that's usually a point where we see a shift and we need to change the business model a bit. So if you're a business owner and you're feeling triggered, take this as an opportunity to check in with yourself. Think about all the things that we just talked about and like check in with yourself. What's the underlying fear that you might have? Once you identify with it, you can shift from reacting to actually responding, which is going to help you move through challenges with more grace and resilience. On to the next. This is a long one. How many minutes are we at? I don't know. I don't care. So much fun. Okay, I'm just talking you up tonight, but it's all good. All good stuff. Okay, so now I want to talk about pleasure and aliveness in business. Two concepts that are often overlooked but are super critical to your success. So if you are constantly grinding, hustling, and pushing, you're likely operating in a very masculine energy. And while that can work for a while, it's not sustainable long term. So feminine flow, on the other hand, is about allowing pleasure and aliveness to be part of your daily practices. One of my clients who was running a successful business, but was on the verge of burnout, she felt disconnected with her passion and creativity. So we worked on integrating more feminine flow into her business. Simple practices like taking breaks to recharge, actually like taking a friggin' lunch. A lot of people don't even take a lunch for themselves. Celebrating small wins, so important. We should always be celebrating. The first thing I do on a coaching call with all of my clients is let's celebrate a win. Let's talk about, because we often are getting into the nitty gritty of like what's not going right, how can we fix it? Always starting in that mindset of like, all right, what's actually going good right now? What's a win? And it can be so simple. It can be like, you know what? I feel like I'm in a really good mood today and my coffee's really freaking good. Like it doesn't matter, but like positivity, just like changing the way we think. We don't want to go about life in a disgruntled, negative, pissed at the world type thing, because it's not going to get you anywhere. Okay. And like life has so much more to offer than that. So it's just little changes. So yeah, I was talking about the client. So so we focused on, taking breaks to recharge, because she was working, no, nonstop, not taking lunch for herself. So I told her, take the break. Let's celebrate the small wins and let's bring more joy into your workplace. Let's remember how to have fun in our business. Like, why do we start a business? Because we're excited about it. Remember that feeling when you first started your business and you felt like more alive than any other time that you've ever felt in your life? Bring that back. That doesn't have to go away. And we often forget that feeling, and we don't feel it anymore. But why? Like we can allow ourselves to, but we have to allow ourselves to. So when you let yourself experience the pleasure and the aliveness, you tap into that full creative potential. It just opens up a whole new realm of the way you're going to think and the way you're going to do things, the way you're going to act, the people you're going to draw in. You become more magnetic to opportunities and clients because your energy is elevated. We all are working at a different frequency, an energy frequency, and you match that frequency that you're running on is going to match with the frequency out there in the universe somewhere, and you want it to be a good one. That's how we have good things happen to us. That's like often like when you start to get on a good roll with something, like it keeps on happening, like because you're just like on this abundant energy, and it's like, oh, one thing after another after another. You're like, what the fuck is my life? Like, this is amazing. Let's keep it going. That's how it can be. And it can be the other way around too. Like you get into this bad mindset and you're on a bad energy level, you're on a bad vibration, and you're just going to keep tracking worse, worse, worse. So check in with yourself. Ask yourself, how can I bring more pleasure and joy into my business? How can I align my energy with what feels good? Those two things, check in with yourself and ask yourself that. Remember the feeling of when you first started your business or you first got into this industry, because you got into it because it felt good and because you were excited and because your heart was in it. Go back to that place. Okay, it's been a lot today. So much fun. I got super into it. I gave a lot of different examples of clients that I've worked with. But as we wrap up today, I want to take these strategies. I want you to take these strategies. And honestly, I think you should listen to this one more time if you weren't making notes, if you're listening in the car or something, because there are a lot of good concepts in here. Like even if it just whatever resonates with you, write it down. If there's like one sentence I said during this podcast episode and it really resonated with you, write it on a sticky note, put it on your bathroom mirror and say it out loud or say in your head every morning. It's literally going to draw things in. You're going to see change. I want you to take what resonated with you from this episode and reflect on how you can implement these things into your business and your life, whether it's claiming those desires, setting new standards for yourself, embracing devotion, or just navigating triggers with more grace. These are the practices that are not only going to help you grow your business, but it's going to do so in a way that feels aligned and joyful. We can have fun again. Let's bring that fun back. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I truly love you all. I appreciate you so much. Like, I'm so happy, and this work just makes me feel so good that I'm just hoping that I can help even like one person, like, a day. Like that's my goal. Is like, how can I help one person a day? That's what gets me going. But if this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. It would mean the world to me if you did enjoy this episode, to take a screenshot and share it on your Instagram story and tag me at the go-to aesthetics coach. There's a period after each word, or at period Kayla.period, or at allura.agency. Okay, I have a lot of Instagram handles, but any of those, and that would mean the world to me. Or if you want to write a Google review, like honestly, guys, and as small business owners, like those things go so far in our businesses, and it just means so much. Just love you. So I'd really appreciate that. I also have my website, which was recently revamped. So you can take a look at that. It's www.alora-agency.com. We have different marketing packages for your clinic, but those are foundational packages. So everyone's different. And we often go in with a customized package based off what your needs are, a discovery call. So if you're interested in learning more, reach out, let me know. If you want to work more on the coaching side, I have a lot of different coaching. So I have the Millionaire Mentorship, which I brought up earlier. So basically, this is an app where I do voice notes daily, Monday to Friday, and I share different practices, like mindset practices, like the ones we went through today. If this felt good to you and you liked and you want more of this, there's a lot of that in there. So we can focus on self-development, a lot of business practices as well. I'll share resources. I'll share, obviously, I have a strong marketing background, marketing agency. So like I'll share resources sometimes where it's like templates and trending audios and things like that. I might share like walking through like a whole program on how to create a 30, 60, 90-day plan. So many different things that we go through, like everything just to build up you and your business. And what's great about it is that every month we have a new topic, so it makes it fun. This month's topic is making money your bitch, basically. So it's all about money mindset. It's all about money practice exercises. And it's only $39 a month and you can cancel anytime. So there's like no commitment. It's very affordable. And I'm truly just doing it because I want to create this community of people so that we can all lean on each other and grow together and just have so much fun doing it. Like I'm so excited to have this community and build it up over time. It's going to be a lot of fun. I would love to even meet in person sometimes, and eventually I'm going to do like a retreat probably once or twice a year where we can get together and like just have a lot of fun and like make a lot of money and work on our business, but also work on ourselves and just be the best versions. Just have the best life possible. And was there anything else I was going to mention? The only other thing I was going to mention is I'm starting to do, I'm testing it out. I'm actually doing it for the first time tomorrow, which is Sunday. So if you listen to this tonight, which you probably won't because it's last minute, but if you do, I'm doing the sip and social thing where I'm going to have coffee on a Zoom meeting. And I wanted to start just building community that way as well. It's like free. It's literally just a place to go chat and meet people. And I might even do it like in person eventually if there is a good turnout. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. And if you have any questions, just let me know. I hope you have a good night and I will see you guys soon.